11. Okay, I'm starting the recording so I don't forget, so everyone knows.
Okay.
Let me see something. Okay, I want to call the meeting for the May 2nd, 2024 Curriculum Committee to order at 2:33 p.m. The first thing we're going to do is approve the minutes of April 4th, 2024. Can I please have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please raise your hand.
Yes, we're good.
Okay, and lower your hands. Michael, did you have a question or comment?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Any opposed to the minutes? And the minutes have passed. Thank you. Okay. The first item we have for new business is item 24-31. Can I have a motion to approve the proposed course deletion of VIC 272, Advanced Web Page Design?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Okay, second.
Who
Jill, can
was
you?
first?
First,
Who was
Susie, I
first?
was second. It was Michael
I'm
and I.
sorry.
Michael was first, and then
Michael, okay,
right.
thank
And
you.
then, okay. All right. Actually, let's see. We're Jill. You're here to propose this.
I am. Yes, and we're just, if anyone has any questions, it just hasn't run in years and years. It's not offered in any program anymore. And advanced web page design is more suited for CIS than VIC.
Any comments or questions for Jill? All in favor, please raise your hand.
Question.
Oh,
Yes.
Hey, Jill.
Hi.
Hi, it's Dr. Griffin. The 172 is in our social media program, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And not, I just wanted to double check. I didn't think so.
Oh, no. No.
It's the
172.
VIC. Go
Right.
ahead.
No, that's still active, and that's an IAI transferable course, so that's one is good. But this VIC 272 has not run in literally years, and it's not even offered as an elective anymore. We're just
Okay.
getting it off the books, basically.
Thank you.
Cool.
okay. Any other comments or questions then? Okay, so we're voting now in favor of the deletion of VIC 272. Please raise your hand if you approve this deletion.
We're good.
And lower your hands. Any
Thank you,
opposed?
everybody. Just want to say thank you.
Any opposed? All right, that item has passed. Thank you, Jill. We are going to move on. Going a tiny bit out of order for the agenda, but I am moving on to item 24-36, which is a course revision of PED 153 Foundations of Exercise. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. I'll be presenting this item. The course is within the personal trainer curriculum and is electives in the it's a core course in the personal training curriculum, is elective course in the mini certificates that we have for sport conditioning, sport management, and integrative wellness. The course we have had trouble with the retention rate and the completion rate, both of which are hovering around 40%. So within our department meetings and advisory committees, we looked at the course topics, topical learning outcomes, and contact hours, and we revised them. We're also updating to a new textbook that the American Council on Exercise has published for personal training exercise science in the context of personal training. So we'll be utilizing that new textbook, as well as we've updated the topics, topical learning outcomes. We did, because we were revising it, we did look at the general education outcomes and removed a couple of them. I believe critical thinking is what will remain as the general education outcome. So does anyone have any, and in the hopes that, you know, the success rate will improve with the new topics, the hours that we're spending on those topics, and the inclusion of the new textbook? Any comments or questions on this revision for me? Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand.
Okay, we're good.
Lower your hands. Any opposed? All right, and that item has passed, which is 24-36, revision of PED 153. Okay, we have 4 more course revisions. Can I have a motion to approve items 24-32 through 24-35, which is 4 course revisions in HIA?
So moved.
Okay, motion to. Thank you. We have a proposed revision of item 24-32, HIA 128, introduction of bakery and pastry. Item 24-33, HIA 130, culinary arts quantity food preparation. Item 24-34, HIA 133, menu writing, and item 24-35, HIA 276, food and beverage purchasing cost control. And I'll have, is Denise here? I'll have them propose this in a moment, but just in quick summary, their proposal is to remove HIA 100 culinary math as a prerequisite to the 4 courses that you see on the screen right now. Okay, Panos. I don't see Denise here, so I'm calling on Panos then.
Yeah, thank you, Chair Murphy. Basically, after the pandemic, all culinary programs have experienced a drop in enrollments. The enrollments have stabilized, but not improving. That's not unique to Triton. That's across all culinary programs in the state. So unfortunately, our college has experienced some continuing erosion in the enrollments. So during the last year or so, there was an imposition of HIA 100, the culinary math course, became a prerequisite, core-requisite to 4 gateway courses. The courses you see listed, intro to bakery and pastry, culinary arts, menu writing, and food and beverage purchasing cost control. So during the advisory on April 17th, we talked extensively about HIA 100, the need of math, culinary math in the program. And we put the item to a vote. Out of, let's say, 13 votes, 10 said to remove the prerequisite, core-requisite requirement, and 3 were against the removal. So this is how we went about to decide to remove the prerequisite, core-requisite, and that's what you see in today's proposal. And I'll be more than happy to answer any questions the people present have. I have extensive experience on a similar situation at my previous place of employment.
I do have one quick question. I believe I heard you say that the HIA 100 was a prereq, co-req. Was that recently put into place as a prereq?
I believe that was last fall.
So it's only been a prereq, co-req for potentially a semester or a year? It's either a semester or a year and a half.
I would have to double check, but my impression is starting the fall semester, the course became a prerequisite, core-requisite to the gateway courses.
Fall of 23.
Yes, so currently the students have it as a prerequisite, core-requisite. for the gateway courses. And it was the case in the fall.
Okay, okay.
It became effective fall of 22.
Oh, it was fall of 22. So, okay. So yeah, it's recent. It was, in my opinion, a recent requirement, but I just wanted to clarify that. Okay. John Cody, please.
Thank you. I can imagine some of the math that might be involved in food prep and what have you. But more specifically, what is the nature of the math and why do you believe that it was an impediment?
My experience with math in culinary programs has been, it comes across as a requirement that usually the students do not see relationship, even though we see that, and the faculty in the programs can attest to it. Some basic math skills are required. At the same time, though, a lot of the students who elect to sign up for these programs, they may already have a, let's say, propensity to not be, have a math adversity. And then when the course, not only it's required for completing the degree, it becomes a prerequisite for entry-level courses. Again, anecdotally, math anxiety kicks in and becomes like a major thing. Why do I have to go through this course when it's not necessarily helping me in preparing food? So I did look up at other programs. Many programs do not have such a requirement. Other programs delegate a general math requirement in the Gen Ed group of credit hours without tying it directly to HIA or culinary baking and pastry courses. And occasionally, yes, there are programs that they have it as a prerequisite, co-requisite to gateway, but that's the exception.
So am I to understand that you can just teach the math applications that you need to in these courses and not require a separate math course?
That's correct. The program has two courses that it states in the catalog they satisfy. In fact, each one of them, you don't need both courses to satisfy the Gen Ed math requirements the college has. And one of the two is HIA 100 and the other course is HIA 115. So by decoupling, by taking away the prerequisite, co-requisite, for HIA 100, the students will still be able to satisfy some math knowledge, and hopefully they can attempt the course later on in the program, and it removes the pressure some of the certificates have, right? Because the certificates are a subset of the main program, but by making HIA 100 a prerequisite, co-requisite to entry-level courses, even the certificates experience, right, enrollment pressure. So
okay, but I guess the point I'm trying to make is that whatever math skill they need that's applicable to culinary arts, they can acquire that in these classes without having to take a separate math course. Is that correct?
That has been typically the trend or the history or how it's done in just about any career and technical education program, right? So automotive, welding, culinary arts, industrial maintenance. Even when a math course is a prerequisite early on in the program, as long as it's not tied to gateway courses, the instructors have figured out how to do just-in-time delivery of very basic math content or review so that the student can be productive in the main content, right? Subject matter the course is meant to deliver. So that's a way that many career and technical education programs handle, let's say, the lack of math readiness in their students.
That's the nature of my question. I understand. So really, the bottom line is the answer to the question is yes. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry it took me so many sentences to articulate exactly what you stated.
Or before I move on to Michael, I just want to clarify then, the class HIA 100 will remain in the
Yes, it will
curriculum.
remain a required course for the program, correct?
It will remain in the curriculum. Is it a required core course, or it's just an option as a math requirement, but the other option would be HIA 115?
No, it will remain a required course in the program.
Okay.
And HIA 15 must be taken. That's the food sanitation manager, which is critical for any and all students to be able to work in the industry even while they're taking classes.
Okay, so yes, so I pulled up a couple of the curriculum. Clearly, if it was being removed, you would have put a curriculum revision in. But so they're taking HIA 100 and HIA 115, but it's not a prereq to move through the program.
Yeah, HIA 115 remains a prerequisite for many, prerequisite core requisite for just about any food production course.
Okay.
We are removing the HIA 100, so it's still required for graduation, but it's not, and will stay in semester one because it will be beneficial. There's no doubt about it, right? If the students, even if they don't do well, they can repeat the course, but it stays in the program. It stays the way it shows in the curriculum, right? Semester one, but it will not prevent students from taking, let's say, semester two classes.
Okay, thank you.
If they don't successfully complete, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Michael.
Thanks, Julianne. First, I'm just going to say, so there's no confusion, I plan to vote yes. I mean, I think that that Denise and Panos have done what they need to do here. I just want to, whenever I hear, I think, I had some of the same questions John did. Because when I hear enrollment, I think, well, yeah, we can't get rid of something they need just because we'll get to increase our enrollment. And I know the temptation's there. I've seen people give into that temptation and pay for it. But it sounds like, from what Panos says, that they have figured out that this course isn't needed for menu writing, or if it does, they can just teach what's in there as he stated. So I think I'm just more for the record, just saying we do have to be careful of talk of enrollment, unless, as is the case here, you can show that we don't need this, that we can get by without it. So I think what they've done here looks fine to me, based on all that.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions? Okay, so all in favor of the revisions of HIA 128, 130, 133, and 276, please raise your hand.
Okay, we're good.
Lower your hands. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Those 4 items have passed. That is all we have for the new business. We're going to move on to a couple of other things in a moment. Other items. Okay. I'm not sure. Actually, on your agenda, it doesn't have any other items listed, but so these are more just topics that I wanted to bring up in the time that we have together today. And the first one is the rationale that is on all the forms in the in the curriculum watermark site: course forms, curriculum forms, master syllabus. I think it would help all of us as curriculum committee members to make sure that these are filled out thoroughly. So if the deans can make sure that the rationale is filled out prior to approval, that would help. And most importantly, telling the department chairs, make sure that that's thorough. For a rationale, we want to know what was done, why was it done, and then have the supporting evidence. That supporting evidence could be typed in as text or uploaded as files if needed. And we're looking for, as we've talked about today, advisory committee meetings, what other colleges and universities are doing, accreditors, department chair meetings, things like this. When what would help me with advisory committee meetings, specifically if I don't know who these people are, is even if there was the title of what they are doing or where they're working as well, so I could conceptualize who's giving input on that evidence to support the revisions. That would help me as one member of the curriculum committee. So I just wanted to bring that up. Is there any other comments on that? Great. I mean, I've said it before, but I'm still getting some items that lack the rationale and the three aspects of that. So we'll move on to the next one. The college has a new employment position posted that will, I believe, be full-time to oversee degree audit and the student planning tools. I believe this position may start over the summer, and that person will be working with the guided pathways maps that we have in the system in Watermark. So we want to make sure that the guided pathways within all of the curriculum is up to date. So we're asking that over the next few months, all the department chairs review their guided pathway programs and making sure that the sequence looks good, the classes are correct, that we're not going to need to add a new course or remove a course, just to kind of review that pathway, make sure it makes the best sense. Speak about it at future department meetings with the other faculty in those departments. We're estimating that the guided pathways, when it was created, was about 4 years ago. So if someone has not reviewed that in those 4 years, now would be a great time to do it. Although I do think some of the departments have reviewed their curriculum within that time as items were brought to our committee. Another topic regarding guided pathways that has come up in the past, and we'll just touch on a moment now, again, is at the beginning of each of the semesters, some of our programs say fall semester, take these 5 classes. Spring semester, take these 5 classes. Some of our curriculum says semester 1, take these 5, or semester 2, take these 5. So we just want to talk about this and bring it to people's awareness right now of, you know, the options that we have. And it may make some sense to list it as semester 1, semester 2 to capture the people that are starting Triton in a January semester rather than a traditional August start time, or even starting in the summer. I would think that some students might be confused when they see fall semester, that they have to wait till fall to begin a program. So it's just something to be aware of when you're reviewing your pathways, if it might make sense in your area to list it as semester 1, semester 2. Comments or suggestions on that portion of it? Michael.
I think the semester 1, semester 2 makes more sense than fall, spring, even though, you know, I'm sure a large percentage of our students start in the fall, but they can figure that out easily. That means fall is my first semester. One thing I just think with guided pathways too is to keep in mind that when you're putting in the courses that are kind of like degree requirements rather than part of the sequence from your subject area, advisors know this anyway, but if the order doesn't matter, you know, I'm not sure why we have that sometimes, because, you know, like if it's you're going to take a humanities class and a social and a behavioral science class, and you're, you know, in a STEM field, it doesn't really matter which one you do first. So, and that's something I talked to Sheldon about at the time too. So, I mean, if we're going to look at it again, that's something I would look at. And a lot of people did just that, by the way. That's another thing. It's not consistent, because some people just gave a very exact, here's the classes you take in this order. While other people did kind of leave things a little more open, which is what's going to happen anyway. Our schedule is not going to allow most students to just go through and take things exactly as, you know, as the pathway says to do them.
Okay, thank you. John?
Thank you. I would generally agree with enumerating the semesters. However, does it complicate matters if some courses are only offered in one semester and not the other?
And that's the exact debate we had the last time we discussed this, which could have been a year ago or so. You know, making sure that the courses students need are offered when they need them. I think that we can't make a decision in the curriculum committee for every program on that particular item. That it almost needs to be made at the department level, but also reviewing the trends of student enrollment at the same time. I mean, that would be one holdup if their class is only going one time a semester. In my department, we try to offer almost every course both semesters. But there is one that, due to enrollment purposes, we haven't found a good place for that yet, whether it be fall or spring or summer. So it's just something every department, I do believe, needs to look at in terms of what might work.
Julianne, could I address that
Yes.
comment?
Yes.
So a couple of things. The trend for the college is that we have more full-time students start in fall. Part-time, we actually have more start in the spring. So I think that bodes well to saying semester one, semester two, because it doesn't confuse the students. We know students that shouldn't wait around for half a year to start a program if that's what they're thinking. It also aligns with the strategic plan of building flexibility so we can capture students when they want to take classes and not lose them in the process of in the waiting. The other thing I would say about if courses are only offered one time or a certain semester, typically that's not a gateway course. They're usually higher level courses. And I think that's where it speaks to, if we can learn who's in the pipeline and identify those students, so you could start advertising to the students. This class is only offered in fall, so we can get the large numbers that we need to make sure that class runs. And I think that's in line with the work that the chairs and the deans will be working this summer to start figuring out who's in their pipeline and better identify that so they can learn who their students are. So this is one example where you can really start working with those students to making sure they're getting the courses when they need them and not sticking around because they lost a course and they forgot, didn't get in their schedule. So I think this all kind of coincides with it. And I would also say that part of this work of relooking at guided pathways, the Institute made a conscious decision to go into guided pathways, and it was not meant to be a one and done. It's living and breathing. And so how do we keep that active? And I think looking at this 4 years later to make sure it's fresh and it's as it's supposed to be really speaks to that, to the work that you would all do to make sure that happens. So I'm thanking you in advance for the work that I know you're going to have to do to look at your courses just to make sure they're as they should be. So thank you for that.
Okay, thank you. Jessica?
Yeah, wanting to really echo what Dr. Flaherty is talking about with the thought that in some emphases or programs, a program map or an advising guide really is potentially arbitrary, that as he was kind of saying, it doesn't really quite matter when they take it, just so long as they take it. And it is in this manner that, and I know that in conversations with a number of faculty of various areas, a similar desire has arisen, was for a listing of requirements in addition to a map or an advising guide. Because if it comes to, because I know that students just want to see what are the courses that I need to take, in addition to a potential 2-year, 3-year plan for whatever program that they're going to do. Both of those are essential tools, and our catalog can absolutely assist in the development of something like that. And whether that is something that's done in advising or whether that's something that we work on in curriculum, but a listing of courses in addition to a program map is absolutely something that we should go towards. There are a number of great examples out there, even at the 2-year college level. Actually, COD does exactly this. They do a program map in addition to a list of requirements. And I think if we're refreshing this anyway, this would be a great thing to tackle as well.
Okay, thank you. Michael?
Yeah, just adding to that, I think that, well, like in my department, of course, the rec courses are all offered every semester, but our electives are not, and some, fiction is because it's popular, children's lit pretty popular, so it's 2 out of 3, whatever. But I think that we always had the asterisk in the catalog, which I know we still keep up, but I know most of our typical aged college students aren't really, they're looking at the website, they're not leafing through a catalog. I think we need to continue to mark that the courses that are not offered every semester. And again, I think that's is something we need to let students know, but I think we can do that and don't necessarily have to have the plan be fall spring in order to do that. I think we can still do that with semester 1, semester 2, but if you're an education major and you need children's literature, these are the semesters that it's offered, like that.
Thank you. Susie, that's being done with programs right now with the asterisk, indicating which semester, if it's a course that's only one or the other.
In some programs, not all.
And I think that the department chair could certainly look at that as something that they can examine if it would work or not for their department or for that particular curriculum, and then just add that with a program revision, a curriculum revision, if they wanted to add that asterisk in there. Okay, any other comments on the semester 1, semester 2, or fall spring semesters? And then the last portion of this is when we're looking at the guided pathways, some departments may want to include career services or a career service component, and think about if there's any room in the curriculum to get the student ready for the workforce, whether that be on site or internships or practicum. But is there any, and some programs already have this, but is there room, should we keep this as an extra learning pathway so that they're ready once they're done with their curriculum to go right into the workforce? I've had career services on my advisory committee. They've been beneficial. I think that, we could look at the trends in the community, as well as the state of Illinois and the nation. What are we getting our students ready for? Just keep that in mind while you're reviewing the pathways. So what I'm proposing as a curriculum committee is that we're asking the deans and the department chairs to just review the guided paths that we already have and make sure they're up to date and ready to go. And this new employee will be utilizing those, hopefully improving those as well for the student to use as one of their planning tools. Any other comments on those topics? Is this about guided pathways, Francis?
Actually, it is.
Okay, go ahead.
So I got the booklet that is sent to all the people in the district, and I open it up and you've got university transfer programs, and not all of the transfer programs are listed in your guided pathways listings. None of mine are, and they're all have transfer agreements. So how does that get changed through the guided pathways?
Can you work, I would suggest you work with the transfer center. I don't know if they were the source of the information. When you say the booklet going out to the villages, is that?
Yeah, I have a scan of it on my computer here.
Do you have it?
Yep.
I don't know let's see if I can make you a presenter.
What's the title on that, Francis?
Yeah,
front of the.
It's my husband scanned it, so it's on page 12 and 13. It says programs of study, a complete list of degrees. Because the reason I'm bringing this up is I get people who say, "Well, your program's not transferable," and it is.
Right. I'm not sure if that information was pulled from the transfer center.
But we've had transfer agreements for years before the guided pathways, so, or at least for architecture.
Right, I think they're housed in the transfer center, so maybe just make sure that we have a complete listing there. I'm not saying they're not, I'm not sure why they're on that list, and I'm not sure who generated that list.
Okay,
That's-
I had asked Susie about this. She suggested I come to this committee today and ask,
If you want to send that to me also, Francis, I'll
Sure.
see where we can get that done then.
I don't
Okay.
have the answer to that question either, and I would love to know the answer of who, where that information is being pulled from and who to contact if we find a discrepancy in that mailed schedule.
I can potentially speak to that. I'm guessing, but what my understanding of programs versus transfer pathways is, if I might.
Okay, go ahead, Jessica.
So a transfer pathway, I'm guessing, is only referring to those areas of study that are truly transfer-only programs. They do not result in a degree in and of itself. This is most of the areas of study within the liberal arts and sciences school. A certificate or the applied science programs, Francis, like yours, absolutely, courses are transferable because they have agreements. But what I'm sensing is the language there is these are our transfer pathways because this is how we're defining our programs that are emphases only. I'm not saying that's correct.
That's not true because
I'm wondering if that's
they have criminal justice on here, economics, accounting.
I'm wrong.
So either take those all out
Yeah.
and say, and I think the term needs to be changed because people are confused.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't transfer with that degree. Why would I go here?
Francis, do you have I did make you a presenter. I don't know if you know how to upload that or if you wanted to quickly email me the scan, I could upload it so people can see it.
I should be able to share my screen.
Julianne?
I'm sorry, is this Michael? Who's
Yeah,
calling?
it is.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm not sure if this is the case, but one thing I can tell you is sometimes people say, well, my program is transferable. I mean, sometimes people say that when I'm talking about what the scholars program, they say, well, they can transfer. And that's true. Everyone can transfer. Sometimes, and I think this is what Jessica was talking about too, just differently said. Sometimes what they mean by that is transferable where you will get the full 2 years and be done with your gen eds. So for example, if you take an AAS and you don't take Rep 102, you're going to have to take, they're not going to say, oh, we'll just let that slide. You'll have to take Rep 102 and you transfer. Now, to me, that's too simple because, again, I can understand Francis' problem where people say, well, your doesn't transfer at all. Why should I go? So I think that maybe that distinct, if that's what's right, I don't know if that's it.
No, she just said,
I'm sorry?
I would say, let's see where she charts it in. We don't.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead. I don't think Sue knew that her mic was on, so I just muted her.
Oh, I thought she was talking to me and saying, no, that's wrong. Okay. So I think this could be a matter of whether the AA and AS degrees are designed to be a complete transfer where you will have all your gen eds done and, you're just ready to go when you get there. The AAS degree is not designed for that. And I think that might be the problem. If it is, I think that's, not specific enough because to say these degrees aren't transferable is incorrect. On the other hand, to say that you will have to take some of the coursework that you didn't take at Triton there is correct. And again, I just use Rep 102 as the example. If you transfer to UIC or U of I and you don't have Rep 102, they are going to flag that and you're going to have to take it there or come back to Triton and take it or whatever. So if that's the problem, I think this is a matter of language, a matter of just stating being more specific and not just saying, here's these degrees transfer, these degrees don't. It's not that simple.
Yeah, and now that I'm looking at this, that's exactly right. So criminal justice, for instance, does have an emphasis, does have an AA and AS degree emphasis in addition to their career programs. So everything that's listed there is a check mark because these are pathways specifically as a set of electives towards the AA degree or the AS degree. And then on the other column then are the career programs, which are our AAS or our certificate programs. And you see that list is pretty expansive there. So is the way that this is identifying potentially confusing? Absolutely. But is the list itself correct? Absolutely. So yeah, so that's
Yeah, and
that's
it may be as simple as a change of name from university transfer programs, and then maybe have an asterisk. Almost all of these programs have transfer agreements. So all I'm saying is this has been a problem because people say your program's not transferable because they open up the book.
I think we need to know as a committee, and we could disseminate this information as well, who can we contact to inquire whether the program is on there or not on there. And the second part of that is exactly, I don't want any programs to negatively be impacted because they're not listed here and they are degrees.
Well, no, they're not. So anything on the university transfer program, those are not degrees. The AA degree with an emphasis in anthropology, yes, but as a degree itself, there's no degree of anthropology, AS or AA. So that is correct to say that they are true transfer pathways. They are an emphasis. They're a group of electives that set you up for success at a university transfer situation, as opposed to our certificate or our AAS degrees and our career programs, which in and of themselves are degrees. And I can confirm each of those for you because this is something that I am intimately working with on the back end and assessment as well. How do we, what is the technical definition of a degree program versus an emphasis? And so that list obviously changes based on what goes through curriculum, but I can tell you exactly what should be an AA degree and what is an AS degree versus an AA degree and certificate. And just from what I'm seeing here, this looks to be up to date. Who creates this? I'm not sure. Where do they get it from? I'm not sure. But from what I'm seeing here, this is correct.
Okay. We do need to know who creates it and where they get that information from.
This is coming straight from the catalog.
It's
how the catalog is laid out.
Okay, but who lays that out? That's the question.
Who prints it? Who prints it?
Oh, who prints this is marketing, but the program of studies, I have a list of all the programs, and they have a university transfer and career programs. Maybe they could add something after career programs. Many programs have articulation agreements. Please check with your advisor, something like that, something to say that these are transferable.
Okay, I do have one quick question for Francis, and then I know there are people waiting. I'll call on you in one moment. With Francis, is your program on here at all? Because I do see programs missing from either list.
It's architecture's on there, construction technology. Yeah, all three of mine are on there.
And that is for the career programs.
For the career programs.
Okay. All right. You know what I think it was? There's a second page. So I didn't notice.
Yeah, there's a second page. I couldn't show both pages. There's a second page.
I was like, wow, there's some.
I just think that there needs to be some clarity in this so that we don't. So because architecture is a huge, most people transfer. So
we still need to, Sue, if you could find out for us who we can contact to talk about.
I have already sent the email to figure it out. So
thank you.
Progress.
Paul is next.
Thanks, Julianne. I just sent you an email with an attachment. Do you have that there? I'm back on the guided pathways that we left off on for a second.
Yeah, I'm opening my email right now.
Perfect, thanks. So you had talked a moment ago about, folks talking about looking at their courses and bringing inviting career services to their classrooms. So Career Services has a bunch of information that's ready for you if you want to invite them out to the classroom. We've actually got the 4 semesters divided into different activities for guided pathways type activities. So we can come out to the classroom and they can do activities for you there, or you can send your students over to Career Services and they can work through some individual activities with them there. So when we get those up on the screen, you can see how we've got them divided into one-on-one activities, classroom activities, and things that they can do at the institutional level. We got Francis's screen up there now.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to work on this. Just give me a second to share this.
Okay. So if you have your students out there, we can work on resume review, and they work on the students with LinkedIn profiles. They do strong assessments. Those are individual sessions that they work on with coaching with the Career Services staff. They help them with set up with internships. They give them work with them on job interviews, set up career panels. Oh, there we go. So it's broken down by semester. You can see some of those activities there. We're building that dramatic tension. You are going to just love it when you finally get to see what this is.
Oh, can you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay. I can't get my Word to open on the a share file, so I'm actually in my email.
Oh, this is good. Thanks. So if you've got a 2-year student, so you can see how it's broken down there: one-on-one activities for resume review, and then strong assessment. That's your interest survey where they do it one-on-one with the Career Services staff. Second semester, LinkedIn profile activities and career fairs. Third semester, talk to them about internships and work with them on job shadowing and preparing for interviews. In the fourth semester is doing the job interviews, more internships and mock interviews. And if you could go down a little bit more, Julianne, there's the same model for a 1-year student in the certificate program. If you go down a little bit further, here's some more information about the actual activities that if you want them to come to the classroom, there's a list of some of the stuff, and we can send this out, but it gives you a little better idea of how you can work with Career Services, because they've got co-curricular activities that are following the guided pathways that we've set up. So as Sue said earlier, it's living, it's breathing, it's an ongoing process here at the college, and we're trying to support what you're doing in the classroom the whole way. So Lorena Gaska is the Director of Career Services. If you haven't met her, you're in for a treat. Go ahead and give her a call, or you can give me a call, and we'll make sure that you're set up with some folks that'll come out and work with you on your classwork. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Susie, did you want to comment on something?
Oh,
Your
no,
hand,
just
your hand was up next. Okay, Panos?
Yeah, what you're looking at, like if you have the spring, schedule, all you have to do is open page 14 and 15, right? So this set of programs of study get published in all our schedules. And I think just like Jessica was saying, and this is a perpetual conversation, all AAS degrees, to get our courses in the program, they require 3 institutions to say we will receive those for credit. And then we start saying, well, these programs articulate and they're transferable. Well, the reality is what you see under university transfer programs, those are very specific to courses that they also have an IAI component to it, right? So criminal justice has 4 classes that they have the IAI designation. So as long as the student take only those 4 courses and all their gen eds, then they can smoothly, quote unquote, transfer into a 4-year program. Now, if they take our AAS degree and they don't have the gen eds, will a 4-year institution accept them? Of course they will. But instead of having to do another 2 years, they may have to do 3+, right? So architecture, and I apologize, I don't know our courses as much yet, but I didn't see any architecture IAI course. I don't even know if that thing exists. Susie, maybe, at a later time, if you can please look it up for us, it may be worthwhile to look into, can we provide that kind of designation, or we may have to create new courses, right? Those courses that will be specific to a 4-year, or usually architecture is 5 years, right? That will be specific
No,
to,
it
right?
varies. It varies. It can be 4 or 5.
So, but not architecture technology, not construction technology, right? No, these are meant to be what an architecture student takes. So we can look into that, but that's why you don't see architecture in the left column. But you
Okay,
see,
what I was saying is that's very confusing, though, just the terminology. And I think architecture, I think Susie can go back to this. We can't get AIA because there's not enough state colleges that teach the program.
Right. But the courses do transfer with articulation, with Form 13s.
Francis, do you think if it was called University Transfer Pathways, that would help or not necessarily?
Something, and I think just the little note on the side of the other ones meant most of these career pathways are also transferable.
No, that would be good. Because again, those university transfer things, they're not technically programs, they're transfer pathways. And so they create, and that fits nicely. Obviously, we call them guided pathways. They are so termed because they provide a solid path to transfer into a 4-year institution. But in and of themselves, they are not standalone programs.
I understand now what you're saying. I just think the heading, if you just change the heading, you could clarify it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Michael.
Sorry, I aimed at my microphone and missed. I'm glad Panos went before me because he said a lot of what I was going to say, and he said it better than I would have been able to today. That's exactly the problem. I've always actually wondered with architecture why, it's none of my business. I've never brought it up, but I think it'd be nice to have, as we do with business and criminal justice, having that option of an AS. But as you said, that probably means like taking 4 architecture classes, because the universities want them to take the bulk of theirs. It's this way in business and everything. They don't want our students to take a lot of their major here. They want to take it there. So I just want to also just add, because I absolutely understand the frustration here, and I do think we need to be more specific than just this column, that column. On the other hand, if students take classes that won't transfer to the school they're going to, then they get pretty angry, especially if they were told, this is a transferable degree, it's great, and then UIC says, well, we're only going to take about half of these. That's going to upset them, and in fact, we've had that experience before. So, and UIC, I'll just add, is the perfect school to check, because they will not take anything they are not required to by state. I know this from working with students in my program. If they don't have to take it, they won't even talk about it. So that's, I'd say if it transfers to UIC, then you're good. They won't even take, and I warn students of this who have it, they won't take AP. So if somebody takes gets out of Rep 101 and Rep 102, where we have, to my mind, maybe even too generous of an acceptance of an AP policy, and they go to UIC, they're told, well, no, we're not taking that. You have to take it here. Which, again, I've seen people get angry about that. It's like, well, they're the ones not taking AP, not us. So there's a lot here, but I think that, I think the bottom line here is we can't just take those courses and move them to the other column. Maybe we need more than just saying, hey, you either get in this column or you get in that column. That it's that if more categories are needed, maybe that's what, as far as what Francis has brought, maybe that's what we need to look at.
I do think Francis's solution is probably an elegant one, where we rename the University Transfer X to pathways or whatever, and then have an asterisk or some other clarifying note for the career programs to say, many, if not all, of these programs are transferable. Please contact your advisor for additional detail or whatever, right? But yeah, I think some kind of note pertaining could address some of those consternations that Francis has indicated.
Okay, thank you. I just I just put up a link that Panos had shared, and it looks like he wants to address this. Go ahead, Panos.
Yeah, I just wanted to share, this is, so anything, let's say we don't see in our class schedule that you see here, it's worthwhile to go after it. If it's not here, right, then becomes really complicated to say, well, we do have a transfer program, right? This is how the IAI courses get created, and they do cater to 4-year degrees, 4-year degrees outright starting at a 4-year school. Whereas again, our programs are applied science, and as Dr. Flaherty was saying, is they're very protective of their prefixes. So UIC, UIUC, even IIT, they all say for the gen eds, they're okay, right? But then when it comes to, let's say, architecture or engineering or computer science or math, it's only their way, right? The particular institution's way to teach these courses. So they have a lot of artificial barriers, occasionally even going to the extreme of stepping away from the IAI, right? So we earn IAI, and a 4-year school has the option of saying, all right, we don't articulate this course to IAI. So I think that's why you don't see architecture on the left. That's the best way I can explain, right? You do see engineering, right? That's not engineering technology, right? That's the gen eds, lots of calculus, chemistry, physics, and then engineering specific classes like statics, dynamics. So theoretically, because some of these courses are applicable to architecture, once we offer those again, they will get students better prepared to transfer to an architecture program, but we may not be able to put at the very top, right after agriculture, now have a new asterisk in our catalog that says architecture.
Thank you. I think I could just organize a little bit more of the curriculum committee work to dive deeper into this topic, and then put it as another item the next time we meet, which is in September. But I'd like to do a little bit more research and get some more information about that particular page, and then bring it back to us at the next meeting. Is there any other individuals that would like to speak on that? Okay, so Susie, mark that down. We'll investigate more. We'll present it again as another item in September. That gives us quite a bit of time to look into it. Is there any other topics anyone would like to bring up at this time for curriculum? Sue?
Just to thank everybody for all their work for this school year that they did on curriculum. Most appreciated.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you. Anyone else? So with no other items, I would like a motion to adjourn
So moved.
at 3:31.
Second. Second.
Okay. And you can raise your hand if you're ready to go. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thanks, Julianne.
Thank you. Susie, I'm going to stop the recording.